Masih ada YOLO. Hey, welcome back to the Z Morning Show. It is time for our signature segment, A Book Talk. But first, I am always curious to know what are my friends reading at the moment. What are you reading at the moment?
Yes, I'm currently reading this, Menjadi Kaya Versi Kamu Sendiri, being your own version of rich, right? By Glenn Ardy. So, Glenn Ardy is the man behind this famous financial account on Instagram, Ngomongin Uang.
Yes.
So, this book really this book is needed for those in the process of adulting.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
In what way?
So, because this is all that you need before making your financial decision. There's a tips on how to apply for a mortgage and how to achieve your financial goal.
Yes.
And then also,
is there anything about investment, like what to
of
invest,
course,
how to invest?
A lot.
Okay.
So basically, like this one.
Okay,
Types of investment,
Yeah.
starting from the for those who have like low risk profile, like the moderate
me?
one, from bank deposits to crypto. It is all discussed here, and how to buy houses, and do you need car? This kind of discussions like are rampant, right, among the youth,
Right.
And also for those sandwich generation, there's also a discussion about this, and retirement.
So this is basically like a one-stop shop for everything that you need to organize your finances.
Yes, I think.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay.
This is very good as a guidelines for us before making financial decisions. Like this book alone will help you a lot. Yeah. For example, before you purchase your first home.
Oh, that's so nice. Is there an English version for that already?
I think this is in Indonesia.
In Indonesian.
In Bahasa Indonesia.
Hopefully there's going to be an English version of that.
Yes,
so
and it comes with like cute illustrations.
It's so nice. So it's
very
easy
to read.
Yes. Right. And this is what I'm reading. So I very rarely, Aline, read novels. I found it difficult to read novels, but for some reason I was at Changi Airport a couple of days ago, and I saw this. This is the latest book by novelist Kazuo Ishiguro. He is also the winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature.
Wow.
This was published in 2021. It's called Clara and the Sun. So this basically tells the story of Clara, an artificial friend with outstanding observational qualities who, from her place in the store, so she's an AI or AF, she watches carefully the behavior of those who come in to browse and of those who pass in the street outside. And she remains hopeful a customer will soon choose her. But when the possibility emerges that her circumstances may change forever, Clara is warned not to invest too much in the promises of humans. So this book was the #1 Sunday Times bestseller, receiving many, many compliments. Sunday Times, for example, says that this is a masterpiece of great beauty, meticulous control, and as ever clear, simple prose. Observer also says that this is another masterpiece, a work that makes us feel afresh the beauty and fragility of our humanity. And of course, The Guardian says people absolutely love this book, in part because it enacts the way we learn how to love. So this book has 5 parts. I know, right? AI and how to love, emotions is such an interesting combination. This book has 5 parts, and I read the first part on the plane, and I already cried a lot, so I felt a lot for this book. I cannot wait to finish it.
So this book really speaks to you, like it touches
it
your
does,
soul. Oh my God. I know that you are like more into nonfiction, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I have been more into nonfiction, and I was always a little bit envious of Shanas, our colleague, because Shanas reads both like novels, fiction and nonfiction.
Yes.
And she would recommend me a lot of fictions, but this time I think I found my fiction, Shanas. So we'll see. So today, because this is book talk, of course, there is another book that is recently released that we are going to talk about, which is this. This is Arsitektur Perilaku by Lury Sofyan and Dimas Budi. We're going to talk about behavior economics. I've always been fascinated with behavior economics because I don't understand what it is. And I'm sure probably you understand a little bit about it already.
In Indonesia, it's not easy to find like resources about behavioral economics.
Exactly.
Like also the studies in Indonesia, I don't think like we can learn this in Indonesia. I think you have to go abroad to study behavioral economics, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Let's discuss it more with the authors, right?
Indeed. So we have the authors here, Lury and Dimas. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, Lury.
Hi.
Welcome
Lury.
to the studio.
thank you so
Morning,
much.
Dimas.
Thank you.
Have a seat, have a
So
seat.
where should we sit? We sit
What,
here.
yeah, you sit there and you sit here. This is fascinating. I saw this in one of my WhatsApp groups, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Our little WhatsApp group, which is the Cheapening Scholarship, talking about behavior economics. So before we get into this book, Dimas and Lury, what is behavior economics?
Who wants to go first?
Well, behavioral economics is actually a study about economics,
Yeah.
but we put lots of ingredients of psychology in it. So, basically, like normal economics, we think that human are rational. You know, we have the capacity to absorb lots of informations and
Yes.
make decisions on top of that.
Yes.
But then in real life, we are not that capable to make decisions. So we are just a human being.
Yeah.
We have lots of flaws in judgment.
Right.
And that's where behavioral economics try to explain. In particular, when we talk about individual decisions, but also in terms of group decision making and public policy. So we put more ingredients of psychology into the economics.
So basically, we're not rational human beings. We're not as rational as we'd like to think
Yeah.
in making our decisions.
Yeah, and this is important that Mas Lury said just
Yeah.
now that when we do our everyday life in our habit,
Yeah.
we do tend to look on the microeconomic context, right?
Right.
We see the environment where we are living in, right? And when we look into the bigger context, we tend to see the society, the bigger context that we are living in. But we very rarely to see the inside, what's inside our brain,
Always.
the system of thinking.
Okay.
And that's become the core discussion about the behavioral economics, how people behave and how people think and how people perceive the environment.
Yes.
And then that perception, whether it can lead to behavior or not.
Right.
Yes.
So we make decisions based on the system of thinking as well. And
Right.
you said, like in this book, we have two systems of thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
What are they?
So basically, this is kind of imaginary systems of thinking, right?
Right.
So we try to, the kind of theory already developed by lots of theories in the past. So basically, it differentiates two things of thinking.
Yeah.
The first one is automatic, the other one is deliberative.
Okay,
So-
automatic and deliberative.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we in life normally operate automatically. We don't think that much in everyday life.
okay.
Okay. We get up in the morning and until we sleep in the night.
Yes.
We do everything automatically.
yeah.
So how
In
to
general.
make ourselves less vulnerable into making
Yes.
mistakes in our financial decisions? How to reprogram this automatic
Yep.
thinking system?
Yeah. So this is important. System one thinking is the one that automatically
Yes.
conducted in our everyday life,
Yes.
and the opposite of it is system two, deliberative. This is
Yeah.
something that occurred when you face something unfamiliar,
Okay.
Right.
Give us an example.
unfamiliar, financial, for example.
Yes.
Right. You want to playing stock. You want to save money. You want to everything related with the financial decision. It is unfamiliar, so you cannot rely on a system one, and you not spontaneously. You deliberately put a switch on your system two. Then okay, I'm thinking now. Okay, so you deliberately you're trying to be rational in that moment, and it's very slowly. Like that.
Right. So in our daily lives, right, financial or dealing with our finances is one thing that we have to deal with in our daily lives. When we see, where is behavior economics in our daily lives, other in our decision in our finances?
Well,
Better finance, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about behavior. So
Yeah.
anything that relates to behavior is always related to behavioral economics. Like, let's say when we make decisions, in particular in today's era, lots of decisions are made through digital means, right? Like
Yes.
gadgets and everything. And you see that the designs of environment within the gadget
Right.
is so much influencing our decision making. Sometimes it happens unconsciously.
Such as?
Like the designs of the UI and the UX.
Yes,
Yeah.
user experience.
User experience,
Yes.
user interface somehow diverse your decision
Attention.
making into one point compared to another.
Right.
Because they put, let's say, a brighter color. You don't want to pick that actually. You know, you don't need that things in your life. But it's because of the designs of the environment of the apps, somehow it's divert your intentions toward that things.
Right.
That is a simple
Yeah.
explanation of behavioral economics in real life.
Right. So that's e-commerce, right? When we're talking about e-commerce, also supermarkets, I guess, have used behavior economics as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes they put stuff that is close to the cashier, like
Exactly.
right?
So
Yep.
if you try to go to the retailers,
Yes.
I mean the supermarkets.
Uh-huh.
So if you pass through the normally
Yeah.
the greenish product,
Yeah.
the greens product,
Yeah.
stored in the beginning of the
Yes.
when you want to enter that store.
Yes.
Correct.
That
correct.
greens
Yeah, the
product
produce.
is
yeah.
in front of the
Yes.
the first thing that you see, right?
Yes,
So
correct.
that's exactly behavioral economics. So they want to give you the perception of this is a fresh market,
Right.
right?
I see.
Fresh market. And when you pass the bakery, or you want to the pastry or bakery,
Pastry.
Yes.
lots of smell of good pastry
Yes,
smelling,
yes.
Yeah.
right?
Butter.
Butter
Smell
or
of
something
butter.
like that. You don't want to eat that stuff at that moment, but when you smell it, oh, it tastes good.
You're right, Dimas.
I buy it.
Okay. So, seeing all my own financial mistakes, I think like I am the one like, so it's me against myself.
Okay.
So, can you like give a perspective how sometimes what we do is so much different from the theory of the financial.
Yep.
We know the theory, we know what's good for us, but sometimes like in our daily battles, we
Yes.
just lose.
Yeah.
So how can we make ourselves more mindful? Or is it like for you, what's good is different from me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we learn in behavioral economics that sometimes people, they don't do what they say, they don't say what they think. So there is this gap between intentions and behavior.
Right.
We know something that this is right, the right thing to do, but at the end of the day, we don't do that.
Yes.
This gap is somehow affects our quality life.
Yeah.
And in behavioral economics, we learn lots of biases, the flaws of human judgment. And when we learn that, we become more aware of our mistakes. We become wiser, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, because in terms of financial decision making,
Yeah.
in particular, let's say in the case of Lehman Brothers 2008,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
people just following what is other people do,
Yes.
you know, right?
Yeah.
They're just doing this herding behavior,
Yes.
right? They're just investing in something that is not really actually tangible, right?
Yeah.
Until the market crashed, and then everything is
Gone.
disappear.
Yes.
So the things that we can do is actually we can ask again every time we want to make decisions. Are we in a, let's say, in a hot state or cold state?
What is
When-
that? Hot state and cold state?
Yeah, this is
Explain.
like conditions that actually affect our emotional being when we want to make decisions.
Right.
When we are in a hot state, usually we want to follow others more frequent.
Yes, yes.
But when we are in cold state situations, we become calmer, you know, take a deep breath and then ask questions to yourself again and again and again, and ask your peers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being reflective.
Yes, I think there is this lyric in the song is
Yeah.
a wise man said.
Yes.
Only fool rush in. Yeah.
I think that's in line with the lesson that we can learn from behavioral economics then.
Right.
Sometimes take a deep breath and then ask questions again and again and again would lessen the bias that could appear in or occur in our daily decision making.
Right. So how do we become more cool instead of hot? So we don't become like we don't over-consume, right? This is the thing that you discuss as well. Hot versus cool system.
Yeah, so basically, there's an experiment showing how hot and cold system affecting our decision making,
Yeah.
particularly in financial
Yes.
services,
Yeah.
financial decision making. So when people rely on the hot state, then the kind of decision that they made is they lose basically. They lose a lot compared to those making decision rely on the cold state.
Right.
Right. But the problem is the hot state is the default. It's easier to process by your brain, right? So it's innate our brain, and when we want to involve the cold system, we need to deliberately switch that on.
Deliberately switch that on. By?
And that is the thinking.
Okay.
That is the thinking.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So how do we get into the cool system?
So we need to look back. We need to be reflective.
Yes.
We need to be reflective. We can do that by making our body become more aware of that. Like, for example, if you do the math test, then I want thinking.
Yes.
Like this one.
Yes.
So that stimulates our brain to think.
Right.
Okay. All right. So how much our upbringing and financial trauma affect our financial life?
You mean the decision making?
Yeah, decision making,
Well-
our financial behavior.
Yeah. Well, basically, if in terms of financial decisions, normally we don't really understand what's going on. What I mean is that there is this asymmetric information. Let's say if you want to buy a stock, right? You only grasp the information that is available on the internet, right?
Yes.
Whether this company is making a profit or not.
Yeah.
We don't really understand the fundamental issues within that company. Right? There is this asymmetric information, and to become a real responsible, if you may, investor,
Yes.
you want to dig more, to dive more into the information within that companies.
Yeah. Read the reports.
Read the reports.
Yearly reports.
Yes,
Yeah.
read the reports. Or if you don't have time, probably choosing different means of investment, such as, you hire investment manager.
Yes.
Probably it's also provide better outcomes
Yes.
compared to impulsive buying of stock, just following others,
Exactly. Now we've talked about buying products like being a regular consumer. We've also talked about the finances. What about behavior economics in public policy? Do we use our system 1 or do we use our system 2 more?
Yeah.
Because when I see the election, right?
Yeah.
Indonesia just went through a general election.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I feel, I may be wrong, that we choose from our gut. So that means that we choose automatically with our feelings.
Yeah, public policy. So we just talk about stocks and then daily life decision making. In public policy, behavioral economics also play a major role.
Right, right.
In particular, when government want to design public policy, they should know the behavior of the citizens.
Yes, yes.
In simple example, like we have lots of incentives for small medium enterprise.
Yes.
But surveys mentions that only 40% of small medium enterprise understand the incentives.
Oh, I see.
Most of them, majority of them, they don't really understand what the incentive is, or even whether the incentive exists.
Right. What went wrong then? What's missing? Where's the missing link?
Yeah, that's the thing. There are lots of things, like SMEs, small medium enterprise, mostly they are too busy with their life.
Right.
They have this cognitive load, cognitive attentions.
Yes.
They are cashier. They are their manager
Yeah,
themselves.
they do everything.
They don't outsource their brain to others because they don't
Yes.
have resources to pay,
Yes.
to hire someone.
Yeah,
So they are so busy.
yeah.
And once government, let's say, announce these incentives to the
Which is
SMEs,
great for them.
they don't have time to think about that.
Right.
Probably because of the way the government, informed this incentive is
Right.
just too complex.
Right.
Yes.
Or the design itself, probably the form. The SME needs to fill out lots of forms, and then it requires times and cognitive, to put into that activities. So that kind of, we call it behavior barriers.
Right. So the way it's communicated.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's also matter in public
Yeah.
policy.
And you mentioned about you vote by following your gut feeling.
Yes, yes.
So there's an evidence
Yeah.
that the certain poll or certain survey
Yeah.
can lead to people to vote to one particular.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's normal. It has been used by lots of another categories,
Right.
like for example in marketing, in social life,
Yeah.
by following others people behavior, by picking the one that liked by others,
Yeah.
clicking 5-star rating
Yes.
is mostly picked. That's kind of things that evidence from this
Yeah.
politics.
Yes.
Yes, it's one of the characters actually. I mean, because when you read this book, Arsitektur Perilaku, you can also understand our behavior, like what was mentioned by Dimas and Lury earlier, is basically this is termed herd mentality. Because we tend to follow other people. We tend to follow the majority, right? Because it's safe, because it's not being alienated, it's not being just different from the rest. It's just a safer choice and so on. One more question. What are the behaviors that we need to be aware of when we make decisions? Herd mentality is one, which is following the majority. And then what else?
Which one?
There are lots of basically
Yeah.
we possess lots of bias.
Yes.
So we cannot decide which one that we need to most aware of because we individually have our own very unique bias.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So by reading this book, we try to stimulate the readers by, okay, you need to understand
Yeah.
that your thinking style is like this, and
Right.
you're prone to this kind of common bias.
So like
Right.
self-discovery and more
Yes.
reflective for us, the readers. Thank you very much for writing this book. It is a very rare topic
Thank you.
in Indonesia. Thank you for touching the topic. And once again, thank you, Lury Sofyan and Dimas Budi, for the time and also for writing this book. We're going for a short break. In the meantime, stay connected with us at See Today News on Instagram, X, and YouTube.